The following is a fan-based review. All materials discussed are property of Toei Inc., Bandai, and Saban Entertainment.
Hello, everybody! Yes, I'm channeling you there. Welcome to another episode of In Comparison. Today we are comparing Megaranger to Power Rangers in Space. This is going to be a fun one.
Episode 6.
Episode 6. It took a second. Yay. But, where should we start?
We don't usually start with an opening. Sure. Start with an opening.
Let's do it.
I'm trying to remember...
I like the Megaranger one better.
I'm trying to remember the In Space one.
Rangers in space. Moving in.
Oh yeah, Megaranger ones. It's very, it's not...
I love the In Space one. But,
oh yeah.
But it is wrong. It's great. But the Megaranger one is just... It's marching dancing. When I can march dance to it, it's worth it. Okay.
Closing. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Because I don't think Power Rangers had one.
I think it's the same as the opening, honestly.
Yeah. I think it's just the instrumental version.
Suits! Kidding. Moving on. Why don't we start with comparing Red Rangers?
Okay. So we have Andros and Kenta.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I like Andros better.
I kind of edge Andros a little more just because I think he had a better... He had a better backstory.
His story was
a better
great.
Story overall.
However, I think I might end up giving it to Kenta only because of the fact that Kenta doesn't have a moment where he cries on somebody and they come back to life.
Not fair enough, but I still like
that's
Andros
not
better.
his fault. That is a fault of the story, not of the character. As a character, I
Magic
still think...
Pikachu tears.
But yeah, Andros is great. He's a great Red Ranger with his background and his story and everything like that.
And his hair.
And his amazing...
That magnificent mane of hair.
That magnificent Hansen-esque mane of hair.
Striped hair.
Legolas.
Yes, he was Androless.
Androless.
But
okay.
I really like the
Space
both.
Wood Elves.
Yeah, no, they're both... That's the thing about both of these shows.
Yeah.
They really didn't have any bad characters.
Yeah. It's like they're
Which
both...
was shocking.
Yeah.
Which is also great.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just shocking.
Oh,
There's usually just one bad apple. But
not in this batch.
But let's go to blue.
So we have... well, let's actually go...
Black?
Yeah.
Okay.
Black. So we have Carlos and Koichiro.
Mega Ranger wins this one.
I'm going to go with Koichiro in this one.
Mainly because Koichiro...
Black was the actual leader.
He was the actual leader of Mega Ranger. Carlos is cool, but...
I mean, yeah. He had that moment where he teamed up with Adam.
Which was awesome.
That was great.
Great episode. But
Back in Black.
as we said in our Turbo and Car Ranger review, a lot of his growth does end up coming this one. He ends up calming down a lot more. He's pretty good. He ends up having... it's a lot harder for this one, actually, because I don't really remember much of his character. I remember,
That's the thing. Andros was really the only one who got a lot of character development because everybody else was able to get their character development in Turbo.
Yeah.
So we already knew these characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just like with this one, they all
Which,
end up working on the
luckily,
ship.
after this season, we don't have to worry about something like that anymore.
Oh, thank God. Well...
as much.
Not to this extent.
Yeah.
Not to this extent.
It's been going on since the beginning.
Yeah, Koichiro just he stood out so much more. He was the legitimate leader of his team. He's extremely smart. And, Carlos, he didn't really have as much. I mean, he ended up losing his way a couple times throughout the season. He whined a lot. I remember that. I mean, he's still not bad, but
We normally don't compare these because stock footage. But I'm gonna say the In Space original Zord is better than the Mega Ranger version because the In Space one also served as their home base.
I mean,
it was actually in space.
Yeah, that too. But
yeah.
So
but, I mean,
I just think it served more purposes than that. So
not really, because remember they had an entire team that lived up there at all times.
But they lived up there in that Zord.
Yeah, because it couldn't really come down to Earth anymore.
No, that's my point.
No, actually they did, because they still went to high school. Blue. So
in the Power Rangers world, there is only high school.
So we have TJ,
and except this one where school doesn't fucking matter,
and Shun.
I'm going with TJ.
I'm gonna go with TJ a little bit more on this one. Shun was fine, but it's just like
Shun was like Blandy McBlanderson for most of the show.
Yeah,
and at least he didn't have to. But I'll give Mega Ranger this. He didn't have to come back in Forever Red and utter the line, "Did I ever tell you guys about the time I was baked in a giant pizza?"
There's also...
give him that much. He didn't have to say that.
TJ and Andros sort of shared leadership. He ended up giving like de facto leadership to Andros because he doesn't know what space is, and
I don't know what space is.
but he's
What's space?
But TJ is basically team leader because Andros doesn't really work well with the team, so he ended up basically having to become like legitimate team leader. For them because he was
until Andros decided to not be a dick.
Yes, that was weird.
He kind of was. Let's be real. At the first, he kind of was, but
he was a little bit of a dick.
Moving on to Yellow.
Ashley and Chisato. I remember a lot more about Ashley. Even now, even though I just finished watching Megaranger like at 1 o'clock this morning. But
I can't remember. Was there some kind of romantic undertone with Ashley and Andros?
Yes.
Okay.
That started at the very beginning. When she like walks around.
Did it ever go anywhere?
It sort of did actually, but at the not really.
Yeah, but no.
Because this is a kids show in America, and for boys, and boys think girls are picky.
But I mean, I really like.
I didn't.
I like both of them.
Oh no, yeah, they were great.
Both
characters.
Ashley and Chisato. Chisato wanted to become a professional.
I think this one they're both even.
Yeah, we have a tie on this one.
Yeah, like Chisato wanted to become a professional photographer. For all we know, she did. She's extremely intelligent, and that really shows throughout her in the show.
And Ashley's drive was like I think the highest on anybody else on the team. She really never gave up.
Yeah, and her acting a lot better in this season too.
Yeah. She took a class.
Cassie and Miko.
Little piece of Power Ranger trivia that Marcus brought to our attention when we were getting ready for this. Cassie is the only Pink Ranger in the Zordon area whose name does not start with a K.
Yes.
But has the same sound. They cheated, in my opinion.
They did cheat.
But I might... this is a hard one.
I think they're even on this one, too.
Yeah. Cassie didn't really... She did a lot more in Space than she did in Turbo, obviously.
Where she was terrible.
Everyone was.
Everyone was in Turbo. But... Pink didn't really do much in Mega Ranger either, except for, she did get, a lot of focus episodes, but so did she, Cassie. It's really tough to call on that one. I think we'll have to give this one another tie.
Yeah. And ties are good.
Ties are good. We like ties.
These are ties of the best kind.
Yeah.
We like ties in comparison.
Because this way the fans all win.
Yeah.
Yay.
Speaking of ties, that probably won't happen. Zane and
Yusaku.
I remember because Zane had that whole thing where he and Astronema had that whole relationship. I do like his backstory though, because both he and Andros on K-35, I believe the name of was the planet. They were both fighting there when the forces of evil first came down. Zane ended up getting extremely injured, and the suit was keeping him alive, and slowly repairing him. So they had to freeze him in ice. I love the fact that I think it was either Ashley or TJ and Cassie found him, found the room where he was kept, because you see Andros go into a room.
I'll give him this. I'll give Zane this. He had a much better entrance as a ranger. Because that was badass.
When he walked off of the ship.
And we're just like, oh, shit.
Okay, then.
But
this man means business.
Yusaku was he had that personality.
He had the personality. He was so much more useful to the team in and out of suit. He made their mechs, for God's sake.
Yeah.
he was doing a lot
Hard to get more useful than that.
I do like how they did where he had to demorph unexpectedly, though. Because of the fact that his suit did get damaged so badly, it constantly shorted out.
That and stock footage.
Yeah, stock footage.
I also love how when I was a kid, I was wondering why his cell phone said Mega.
Yes, and now we know.
Now we know.
The more you know.
Speaking of that, before we go ahead and go into the
stock footage, cutting all your costs.
The only name of the
Dino Charge didn't have a problem with it, but moving on.
I think the only name of the mechs that they changed for in space was just for the Astro Megazord. They changed it from Galaxy Mega to Astro Megazord. I think everything else they kept.
They kept Mega Voyager.
They kept Mega Voyager. They kept Mega Winger, and I think they kept the Delta Mega.
But one thing they took and made it their own little brand of hatred for you, the Battleizer.
Yeah, I don't like Battleizers.
I think they can work.
Toys, Marcus.
Yes, the entire point of Battleizers are to make toys. I think in some seasons cases they work.
Like what?
SPD.
Yeah,
it works in SPD,
and it especially worked because they brought it over in Deca Ranger versus Magic Ranger.
It worked in SPD. It worked, I would say, in Mystic Force a bit.
I think the problem with it was in this one is the fact that it was just a really, really bulked up suit with wings.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and it didn't get much better.
And they didn't use it that often either.
Remember Lost Galaxies Battleizer?
We don't talk about that one.
We're going to have to at some point.
My favorite is still Time Force, but that is one list we have to do eventually. Top 10 Battleizers.
Okay.
I don't think there's enough good ones. I don't.
We'll do top 5 and we'll do top 5 and best and worst.
Before we get to the...
We'll let them decide.
Yes, if you want top Battleizers, let us know in the comments.
Before we get to the big bad, with Astronema and Dr. Hindelar, let's do Darkonda versus Girel. Because Darkonda
serves much more of a purpose to the plot.
And he seems a lot more sadistic in space.
I am gonna kill you. I'm gonna kidnap your sister.
And
the fuck?
And basically just hand her over to, he kidnaps Andros' sister at the very beginning.
And hands her over to Satan. Space Satan.
He, legitimately space Satan.
Literally space Satan.
They did sort of do...
Which we have to bring in the fact that they took the costume from the Turbo movie.
Yeah, they did. That did happen. But Darkonda is just he was basically... They took the video game theme from Megaranger, just applied it to him, and they gave him multiple
my god, we forgot to talk about the best part of this show of In Space. The beginning. The villain meetup in space. Rita.
Ow.
Rita. And Red crashes the party. That was one of the best scenes ever.
We'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to Astronema in a second. But
fair enough. But, sorry, I just remembered. Rita.
But Darkonda was legitimately scary. He felt really threatening in that show.
With a toothpick.
He shows up as super evil and kidnaps somebody, goes out, still
gives
super
her to
evil.
Space Satan, makes her
evil, more or less, and he still had all the things that Girel did, where they ended up bonding with Uganda for that quick moment, then basically trying to destroy
Are we going to compare Uganda?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Speaking of which, Darkonda was scary. I really like both of the characters. I think Darkonda just seemed more ruthless.
He seemed more ruthless, and he served more to the plot.
Yeah. Basically everything ends up happening because of him. So
what a dick.
So Uganda, and why can't I remember his name? Ecliptor. Uganda Ecliptor.
Oh, that's a tough one because they're kind of two different characters.
Tie on this one, maybe.
Yeah, because Uganda is
he was all about power and
but
destroying.
Ecliptor was about protecting Astronema.
Yeah, he was basically her father, and that shows up really in the last episode when Anderson's up destroying the thing and destroying Zoron's tube and
spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert for 20 years ago. And the Great Wave just wipes off evil.
By the way, question. So the Great Wave of Light turns Rita into a good guy, right?
Yes.
How does she end up as a good sorceress in Mystic Force? I'm gonna point out all the plot holes.
Oh, gracious.
If you have an answer to my question, please put it in the comments below.
Please do.
But
if it's the same as his, put it in the comments as well, because that'd just be funny to see.
I'm actually going to have to give it to Ecliptor just more, because we got to learn just so much about his character just because of his interactions.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Ecliptor wins this round.
Is anybody keeping score?
Nope, not really. We don't do scores, but just I just remember his character just a lot more. I really like that. Just go watch this space. It's great.
It is one of the best Power Rangers of all time.
So, we can't really do anything with Shibulina. She doesn't really end up having a counterpart. But we can do Astronema versus Dr. Hindelar.
In terms of enjoyment of watching...
Astronema.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
That clip, there is this one moment, I don't even remember what the Rangers did to...
They destroyed a monster.
Or something.
Like
and it just pans to her and she goes, that was
impressive.
Pause.
Destroyed them!
I am acting!
She was great, though.
Oh, no, she was a great villain.
So great.
Yeah. I love, because just the first time she shows up, when they're having that big meeting of the villains, and, Rita, fires a bolt at Deepatashi, ducks or something, and Astronema just catches it, and it just, makes it purple and just Salt Bay.
She literally just does the Salt Bay thing.
And then just walks away, doesn't say a word, and it's just...
I've never heard of that before.
Threatening. And I love it.
Don't bother looking it up.
I love the amount of threat that she just comes up with, like without.
She was definitely one of the more threatening Power Ranger villains.
Yes.
Especially after we learn that she is Andros' sister.
And she tries to become good.
She goes to be this double agent, and then she gets that chip in her head.
Yeah, like
and the haircut.
Ecliptor ends up doing...
Sorry, the new wig.
Yeah, she does wigs like every 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Ugande...
And then she got scary.
Ecliptor ends up implanting a chip into her because he still wants her to be evil.
Was it Ecliptor? Was it Ecliptor?
It was Ecliptor that did it.
Okay, I thought it was the other guy.
Because I remember that scene, it was like Ecliptor was walking towards her when she came back on the scene, and back into the ship, and she's like, Ecliptor, wait, don't do it! Ecliptor, I just remember it going to black after that, and then next thing you know, she ends up having that chip in her head. And this is when she also ends up making the Psycho Rangers to Space Satan. She ends up tying their power to him, just like Dr. Hindlar did with the Neji Rangers to King Javis the First.
So we have to now compare the Psycho Rangers to the Neji Rangers. Good luck.
Ooh, I think
because they followed the plot, they followed their Sentai counterpart very closely.
I think they just come off just a little bit more sadistic as the Neji Rangers.
I think I honestly think that's only because in Japan they can get away with a little bit more in a kids show.
However, next season we'll talk about that.
We will talk about the horrors of Lost Galaxy later.
Yeah, because
Jesus nightmare-inducing God.
Yeah, some of that was just like okay, but yeah, they end up they're both also, very very good.
I just remembered, didn't the In Space Rangers have tube slides that they jump into?
Yeah.
Sorry, just remembered that. Random thought. What the fuck? Moving on.
But they're both really good.
I really like from Batman.
I really like both the Psycho Rangers and the Neji Rangers. I think they're both on about even keel. And
but because that opening scene is just fear-inducing. Oh my god, the Power Rangers don't stand a chance.
I remember because the first scene when they show up in space, in the first season where they show up in Mega Ranger, they don't say anything when they're walking towards them. But I
think you might hear some evil laughter in it.
Yeah, that's like that. Yeah. No, in space though, they're like, we're better than you, we're stronger than you, we're faster than you, and you have no chance. I'm sitting here like, okay,
bye.
Here's the.
And then they just end up getting, and then the In Space Rangers just end up getting walked through. And I'm sitting here like...
I did also like the cool chess piece board that they had in their base during the Psycho Ranger arc.
Oh yeah, and that's how they did no, because they did the same way. They did the footage, and then the thing got knocked, and then he sprays it. Because they did it the same way for Neji Blue and Mega Ranger. But they're both really, really good. Let's get into these plots.
The only reason I want to say In Space is better as a plot is because it's the end of the Zordon era. It's had 3 seasons of Power Rangers of build-up, not including the 3 seasons of Mighty Morphin. So 6 seasons of build-up to this. And not only that, we have to bring up the fact where she is on Earth. Earth has been almost taken over.
Meaning...
Astronema. Sorry, I spaced on her name. Damn it. Astronema has threatened to the Earth that says, bring forth the Power Rangers or I will blow up the planet. Mm-hmm. And they are about to do so, and then Bulk and Skull, the goofballs for the past decade...
The bullies, the goofballs, the whatevers.
I am the Blue Ranger. Yes. And then everyone... Oh my god. I still get goosebumps watching that.
It's awesome.
It's still a great scene.
It is one of the greatest scenes ever. I still get goosebumps watching that. That is just that build up to that ultimate climax payoff that has to push In Space.
Like Mega Ranger had that great ending where they got
ending.
Like they got kicked out of school and they ended up having to basically just fend for themselves because their families are
the population turned against them.
Yeah, it's just like
but that's the difference. That's the difference because within Space they've had Power Rangers helping them for years. Mm-hmm. So the people aren't going to turn against them. They are going to defend the Power Rangers. Mm-hmm. Not only that, they're going to fight with them.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Bulk and Skull fighting the minions is just the greatest.
It's awesome.
I'm sorry. In Space wins it for me. But it's not...
In Space wins for me too.
Because
I love them both.
I love them both, but the problem is with Mega Ranger...
It's a contained story.
It was fighting a losing battle with this one, unfortunately.
Yeah, for the plot at least. Because of the fact that it had just all those years behind In Space.
Not to mention when Zordon looks at Andros and goes, Andros, first off, how do you know his name? But moving on, you need to destroy me. I'm sorry, repeat that?
What? Zordon, no.
They're both great, but...
Can I kill Alpha instead? I'll do that much more happily.
Yeah,
especially Alpha 6.
But yeah, it's just like both,
Especially Alpha 6. Okay.
both of those, like they were both great, but In Space just has the legacy, and that made it just that much bigger.
Because, and again, that's really not fair to Mega Ranger because they thought this was going to be the last season of Power Rangers, so they went all out. This is the first time they thought it was going to be the last season of Power Rangers, but...
And then they were wrong again.
And then they were wrong over and over
but
and over. In 3 years they were right, then they were wrong.
They were just, they were just both so great.
Both of these shows are so good, but...
They're both very good.
I think In Space still wins it for me, mainly for nostalgia. That's just... And again, that's not fair to Mega Ranger, which...
I'm going to have to say they're about even for me.
That last scene, I still can't say it because
I think In Space takes it for me because it is that culmination of everything that we have seen thus far.
It takes it, but like by this much.
Yeah, it's not, but it's like
yeah, they're both still
but
good shows.
For me, they're both on.
This was the hardest in comparison so far because
they're both just so good.
It's so good.
They're both so good, and you're just like,
imagine what we're gonna have to do with Time Force and Time Ranger.
You shut your whole mouth. You shut it now.
It's the exact same plot, though.
But it'll be a 30-second episode.
Yeah, but
it's the same.
But that is in comparison. There's really nothing else to compare.
They're both just great. Just go watch both.
Go watch both.
Go watch them.
Oh my god! And then let us know what's your favorite. What do you prefer, the Power Rangers in Space or Mega Ranger? Let us know what you think. And as always, like and subscribe. This has been one of the hardest episodes of In Comparison.
Stay tuned next time for episode 7 when we end up doing Gingaman versus Lost Galaxy.
That one won't be as hard.
Maybe.
We'll see. But this has been the Tokucast In Comparison. We'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.